Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Katie Thurston and John Hersey set the record straight on their relationship.
John was definitely pissed at the interview that Blake did, kind of implying there was emotional cheating there.
And Tayshia Adams talks dating life after Zach Clark's split and reveals if she was blindsided by the Bachelorette hosting news. It seems like Tayshia is kind of putting the Bachelorette behind her and focusing on her future. Jojo Fletcher celebrates her Bachelorette weekend as a new Bachelor Nation couple is revealed. Plus, grocery store Joe is ready to move in with Serena Pitt, and he tells us about his future plans.
We are going to New York next week, and we are planning on signing a lease. So yeah, that's the plan. I think Brooklyn.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, hi, how are you? Welcome to another week.
I'm good. You know, the Oscars happened, but who cares? Because we have Bachelor Nation tea. We've got new couples. There's always something happening, as we knew was gonna go down in this break.
Definitely. So much going on. And last week's show got a lot of people commenting. So we wanted to check in and see what you guys had to say about last week's show. So Sarah, what did Teresa have to say?
Teresa said, producers want Gabby and Rachel to lean on each other. They don't need Caitlyn. I was never impressed with the role producers gave them. They always came off like giggly drunk college girls there for shenanigans, with the sole exception of Caitlyn's talk with Katie. So obviously talking about Caitlyn and Tayshia as the Bachelorettes, which I know there was a lot of criticism, especially in Katie's season, of people thinking they were really giggly and silly. I personally liked that. I thought it was relatable, but fair. I think the Gabby, Rachel leaning on each other thing is a very interesting point. So they kind of don't need another Bachelorette there.
That's true. That is true. Well, Tony says, I love Tayshia in that role. Such a big mistake to not bring back Tayshia and Caitlyn for the Bachelorettes, Gabby and Rachel. I personally don't want to see Caitlyn without Tayshia or Tayshia without Caitlyn. I like them both together. I like them both together too. Yeah. But I mean, Caitlyn proved that she could kind of hold her own when she did after the final rose. But yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, Tayshia talked to us about Jesse Palmer kind of taking over, and it seems like she's okay with it. But yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of split, you know, if they're going to miss Tayshia and Caitlyn or not.
Yeah, you mentioned that Tayshia seems to be okay with it. And I think Tayshia's overall moved on a little bit more than Caitlyn, not in like a shady way, just in a way where she quit clickbait and she's kind of moving forward. And Caitlyn does a lot of interviews on her show. Yes. But we recently caught up with Tayshia at an Oscars party. And I thought this was super interesting because she told us that Caitlyn and I both had a phone call weeks prior saying that they were going forward with Jesse. So it really wasn't a surprise. Mm-hmm. I'm very happy for him. I feel like he's been so sweet and kind to me. So I wish everybody that takes that position the very best, and I'm so excited to see the new season. And this confirms what Us Weekly reported last week, that they did have a heads up. They did not find out after the final rose, and people were confused because on Caitlyn's podcast, she said, like, spoiler alert, I heard him say that we're not coming back, so I guess I'm not coming back. I think she was just saying, like, okay, it's official, cat's out of the bag. I can tell you guys now. I didn't know this is how they were going to announce it, but she knew. And I think that I would have been really, really messed up if they didn't tell them. But this like blindside narrative, it's just not true.
No, it's just not true. Yeah, she pretty much said it wasn't a surprise. She's very happy for him. It seems like she's moving on, you know, and she kind of wishes everybody the best. And we talked about this last week. It seems like Tayshia is kind of putting the Bachelorette behind her and focusing on her future. I mean, she said in our interview with her as well that she's not dating since her split from Zach back in November. She said it's pretty non-existent for me right now. I really have no desire to date. Maybe in a year from now, I feel like my main focus right now is myself, my career, my mental health, my happiness, my family, my friends, and really just becoming my own person. And I'm really happy with that. She says she doesn't even look at her DMs, so she doesn't even know if anybody's slid into them from Bachelor Nation, but it seems like she has very much moved on.
Yeah, really interesting to hear that she hasn't started dating yet. I mean, that makes sense. Her engagement ended in November. Mm-hmm. It's not that crazy that she hasn't started dating yet, but as in Bachelor Nation, a lot of times you do see people move on super quickly. Yeah. A little transition into Katie and John on Off the Vine. I know we just started listening, but Katie and John sat down with Caitlin Bristow on our Off the Vine podcast. They spoke a little bit about their relationship, about Blake, about the 12 days of messy. What was your big takeaway on what they said about Blake and how he kind of reacted to their relationship?
It seems like they're like, well, John, at least it seemed, you know, it was interesting that he said that that Blake capitalized on this.
That was a key word for me too.
That he capitalized on their breakup and kind of, basically alluded to the fact that Katie and John had this relationship while they were together. And it seemed like he just kind of made a narrative out of nothing. That's what was the big takeaway for me.
Yeah, John was definitely pissed at the interview that Blake did, kind of implying there was emotional cheating there. Yeah. I think what Blake said was fair though, because John and Katie were implying like we were all friends. Like he saw a relationship, we were friends, and John kept saying, I saw the effort Katie was putting into the Blake relationship. Blake should remember all that effort Katie was putting in, because he was kind of like getting at. Yeah. And I was like, if I was Blake and I had spent a month with Katie in the real world and half of the time John was there, I would be questioning it too. So I don't think it's fair to criticize his reaction to this like kind of mind-blowing news.
I would 100%. I totally agree with you. If my ex started dating somebody that we all used to hang out with, pretty shortly after, I would have some red flags and some questions about that as well. So I don't think that they have really a right to be that mad about Blake on this one. I don't think he was capitalizing on John and Katie's relationship. I think he was probably just expressing how he felt, which is what a normal person would feel. I would love to know what you guys think in the comments too. Do you think Blake was capitalizing on this relationship or not? Would love to know what you guys have to think. And you said that she also spoke about that 12 days of messiness, which a lot of people had a lot of opinions about.
Yes. Also, I want to know if people think even if he was capitalizing on it, is that okay? Because that's what Bachelor Nation does, by the way. Like, they're on a podcast now. He was on a podcast a couple months ago. Everyone come on my podcast. Let's capitalize on stuff here. Like, let's talk about it. But anyway, totally. Yes, you did talk about the 12 days of messy. She has said before that she regrets it, and she still regrets the 12 days of messy. But she opened up about how she did give Blake a heads up about we are never ever getting back together. And he was like, haha, you're funny. I get it. This was obviously before Blake knew that the 12th day was going to be the reveal about Begin Again with John. But of course, another one that got a little bit of attention during this time was her giving Thomas, I knew you were trouble. And this was obviously after Paradise had aired, and Thomas was with Becca Kufrin, and Becca and Katie knew each other from, doing Bachelor Nation things, obviously. And they were upset about it. Becca unfollowed Katie at the time. I remember like her joking about red being her favorite color with like red flags. So Katie said she regrets that, and she apologized to both Becca and Thomas. And when she like heard where they were coming from, she understood why it just like wasn't necessary. Yeah. So that's like growth and something good to admit. And then of course she said that decision, their response to 12 Days of Messy made her not do a song for Greg. Because she was like, I should just do only positive ones from here on out. Because most of the guys, as she pointed out, got positive songs, even though, because Taylor Swift has love songs too. So she decided not to do a song for Greg. But basically, you can listen to the episode, but without confirming it, confirmed that All Too Well was going to be Greg's song. Yes. Because she was like, everybody knew. I just didn't do a song for Greg. Straight between the lines.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, exactly. A lot of tea in that interview, so definitely take a listen. But yeah, they haven't sat down for a joint interview yet, so this was kind of right.
They did. They spoke to us at like the People's Choice Awards and like little stuff, but this was the most in depth. And I will say they have a good rapport. I mean, it makes sense. And she talked a little bit about how Caitlin just kept bringing back, like, what happened? Like, why weren't you like picked? And she said, like, I told producers after I met him, I had my eye on him. We had one conversation week 2. He clammed up. I was like, back of the list, like this not cut out. He just wasn't cut out for the show. So interesting. And we're seeing that with Clayton and Susie now, obviously post show, kind of navigating, finding their new normal. And sometimes it just works better that way versus the pressure of leaving engaged. But we do have some happy couples that it works, and I know that our next topic goes along with that.
Yeah, breaking Bachelor news this morning, so we had to squeeze it in. Okay. Yes, moving on to a happy couple. Jojo Fletcher finally had her final fling. This poor girl has been postponing her wedding forever. She celebrated her Bachelorette weekend in Cabo with friends, including Bachelor Nation's Becca Tilley. She showed off her festive one-piece bathing suit with the word bride on it. She enjoyed mimosas by the pool, designed custom hats. Like I said, she and Jordan Rogers fell in love in season 12 of The Bachelorette. They postponed their wedding twice due to the COVID, but they are set to tie the knot in May. Finally, this poor girl.
So excited to see all of their wedding content. I love Jojo. I think she's one of the best in the game at doing Instagram and like being an influencer in a way where you really feel like she's your friend, and she like, I don't know, it's relatable content. And I think bachelor parties, we've all been on them. This looked like a fun one. I thought it was so cute. I love her and Becca. that they're still close. That's like the love story of the Ben Higgins season for sure. And I love her and Jordan, and I can't wait to see her wedding dresses. I know she's having a few. She told us a million times, and she was always worried she wasn't going to like the dress anymore, but rest assured, she still likes it. They're finally getting married. I thought this was just fun, cute content.
Definitely. I like you said, they're one of my favorite Bachelor Nation couples, and, kind of defy the odds. A lot of people didn't think that they were going to last, and they did. He, re-popped the question a couple years after they got engaged too. So just to kind of have a fresh start. And they're really making it work. So yeah, I'm excited to see their wedding. And I know that he has a couple of tux changes as well, because, guys can do that too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, will Aaron Rodgers or Jaylee Woodley show up? Probably not.
Probably not.
We can dream for the sake of this show and sake of, entertainment journalism. We can dream.
Totally.
But speaking of weddings, a different Bachelor Nation couple debuted their relationship at a wedding. After months of fueling dating rumors, Chris Bukowski and Anna Redmond have taken their relationship public. The Bachelor season 25 alum captioned a photo of them kissing with the caption, quote, "hard launch." Ooh. She shared more photos from the pair's tropical trip, her destination wedding, hours later via an Instagram story, captioning a very PDA snap, "happy and sun-kissed here in Costa Rica." So in case you missed it, there's been speculation about Anna and Chris for a while now. Back in January, he was on the She's All Batch podcast, and he said he hadn't been dating much since his split from Katie Morton, which was a couple years ago from VIP season 6. And he would not confirm or deny the allegations about Anna, but he said, quote, "I know Anna. She's a great girl. We're definitely friends, and I enjoy spending time with her." So what was your reaction to this couple?
I was happy for them. I mean, they seem like they're like super in love. A lot of people, like you said, were kind of speculating for this for a while, and it seems like Bachelor Nation is all on board with this. A lot of people commented. Nick and Raven, they both said love this. I know Katie Thurston commented as well. So it seems like everybody is on board. And Chris has been in the Bachelor Nation sphere for a very long time. So it's nice to hopefully he'll have his happy ending.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an age difference there. Yes. Not that that's always a bad thing, but right. Anna was on Matt James' season, and Chris Bukowski made his debut, I think, on like Dez's season or something a while back. So and he's always, like you said, been in the sphere. I think I've met him before a few times. I've interviewed him. He's a really nice guy, and he seems really normal. But it is kind of interesting that he would, even risk going down that Bachelor Nation road again, because people are going to be talking about this relationship. Obviously, the same way they talked about him and Katie, they talked about his other appearances on the show. But Anna's another interesting one who I feel like a lot of Matt's girls, like, we just never really got to know, and everyone kind of thought they were just awful based on what was on the show. But then to see where they are now, it's kind of interesting. So I'm happy for them. I think it's always cool when couples start dating in Bachelor Nation outside the show. Yeah. And sometimes it really does work that way. But I would be curious. I need to know more. Like, how did this happen?
Me too. Because I forgot about, like you said, you kind of forget about Matt James's girls. I had to go back and be like, where do I know her from? Yeah. So yeah, it would be interesting to find out their backstory, where they met, how they kind of fell in love. And it seems like they're enjoying themselves. So yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Well, another couple who is enjoying themselves and going strong after, being in Mexico. Of course, you got your grocery store Joe and your Serena Pitt. And I sat down with him recently, and he spoke to us a little bit about their future plans and where they're moving and all that stuff. So here is a clip of grocery store Joe. It's been a couple months since I've talked to you and asked you about the moving situation. So what's new with the moving situation, Joe?
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I have an answer for you, because we are going to New York next week, and we are planning on signing a lease. So yeah, that's the plan. I think Brooklyn.
Congratulations. How did you decide on Brooklyn?
We wanted something, a little more low key in New York. And we've been going back and forth. We've been splitting time between Chicago and Toronto, and it does get exhausting traveling back and forth and back and forth. I think Serena's literally been living out of a suitcase for 8 months. So to find somewhere mutual that we both are still close to our families and want to be, that's how we came up with that.
Nice. I know you guys did some traveling together also and spent time with each other's families over the holidays. I know you hung out with her sister. How is that going? How are the families blending? How does everybody get along?
Our families actually, they never met in person yet, obviously because of COVID and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, we get along great. Like I get along great with the family.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything when you guys have been looking and trying to decide where you wanted to live, that you like had a deal breaker in a house or an apartment, or something that you really wanted?
Yeah, we want natural lighting in unit laundry.
Ooh, in-unit laundry is huge.
In-unit laundry is a deal breaker, yeah.
2022, are we wedding planning in 2022? Is that still on the back burner?
We are, obviously the plan was to move in together first. We are thinking about 2023. And that's kind of where we're at right now.
To start planning or to get married?
I wouldn't be shocked if we're near the end of 2023, there's a wedding.
Ooh, that's a fun tease. Well, same question with apartments, as you've been kind of maybe starting to explore that. Do you have any wedding deal breakers or things you really, really want to do for that?
Just as long as there's Captain Morgan cherry vanilla at my wedding. If I'm going to save a bottle because it's limited edition, but as long as that's there, I'll be happy.
You're good, Joe.
Yeah, Joe is moving to Brooklyn. And who would have thought he would have left Chicago or Kendall?
I know. It's so bad because everyone in these comments are going to be like, leave Kendall out of it. Like,
I know.
Are happy, but I'm like, I want to know what Kendall thinks that he's leaving Chicago after they broke up over that. I know it wasn't right. I support Joe and Serena. I'm just curious to know what Kendall would think.
I am too. I mean, I guess, she just wasn't the one. He didn't want to like uproot his life for somebody that maybe he knew down the line this wasn't going to be it. And, he feels like Serena is. They're both having a fresh start. Like she's moving to a new location. He's moving to a new location. So it seems like this is like the beginning of their new journey together. So good for them. Hopefully it works out. It seems like they're, really in love. Also like kind of a big age difference between them, but it doesn't seem to be bothering them either.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Like it. All right. Well, let's check in to see what Bachelor Nation members caught our attention on social media this week. Sarah, who caught your attention?
Jesse Palmer himself. Mm-hmm. So to circle back, circle back, Rachel and Gabby's season of Bachelorette, as we're talking about the host, it is filming. It started filming, and Jesse Palmer, say what you want about it, whether you like him as a host, he's taken us along for the ride. And I feel like in a way that they started to do this a little bit, but more so than ever, they're letting Jesse, he did this with Clayton a lot, post behind the scenes photos. And I love it. We saw a little glimpse of their dresses on night one. We saw they were both standing there, waiting for the limos, which sort of implies that, they will both be there meeting both the guys. We still don't totally know, but that's kind of the vibe I got. We saw that it was a classic 7 a.m. wrap all night situation. And then a couple of days later, he posted a picture of them like casually drinking coffee, quote, all smiles today with these two. So I think and they looked so cute. And I love getting a glimpse and knowing that they're at the mansion, things are happening. So even though we have to wait till July, we're going to get content.
It's going to be good. Maybe maybe because we have this long wait, maybe they will kind of give us more behind the scenes stuff than we've had before. So to keep people interested, and maybe we'll have some teasers and things like that. So it kind of feels like they're flipping the format a little bit. Well, they are flipping the format, but maybe a little bit more. Maybe they'll kind of change out their rollout plan and things like that. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, for sure. What was yours?
Mine was John Hersey posted this selfie of he, Katie, and Deeps and Kyle from Love is Blind. Says, I don't really watch reality TV, but the cast of Married at First Sight was so sweet. HBO knows how to pick them. I know he was trying to be funny. It didn't really land, but it is cute to see, reality TV worlds collide.
Yeah. And Katie has been very vocal on Twitter about how much she loves Love is Blind and thinking like it's kind of in her way of throwing shade at The Bachelor, which, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I know your relationship with Blake didn't work out, but you did meet John there. You have 1 million Instagram followers here on that show. So do the people from Love is Blind. And that's great. But I don't know, but it was cute. And I would love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation for sure.
Totally. Oh my God. I love it. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Here for the Right Reason. Sarah, who's on the podcast this week?
Well, if you're looking for more Gabby Rachel content, I recruited Bachelor Data on Instagram to break down the numbers of the potential contestants that they posted on Facebook for Gabby and Rachel. We talked their ages, hometowns, average ages of the show overall, a bunch of interesting information about how the followings on TikTok have been growing compared to Instagram, because a lot of people were saying, is the show going to end soon? Because, Clayton's girls don't have thousands of followers yet. So good stuff there, and some other interesting insight from Clayton season, and just a lot of data that I would never have been able to come up with on my own. So Bachelor Data is on Here for that reason.
I love it. So interesting. It's very, very cool. All right. Well, make sure everybody check that out. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week to break down everything going on in Bachelor Nation. We'll see you then. Bye.